Chapter 14, The Welcome Wagon. Ben awoke to the sound of his grandfather shuffling around the kitchen. Cupboards clanked, dishes clinked, and coffee pots gurgled. He threw the comforter aside, slid out onto the floor, and then peered beneath the bed. The Sasquatch catching kit sat surrounded by a crop of dust balls. "Breakfast!" hollered his grandfather. Ben pushed the box deeper beneath the bed. His plan was to eat breakfast as quickly as possible and then to dart over to Pearl's. "So," Grandpa Abe asked as he poured the milk into his bowl of sugar loops, "do you and Pearl want to come to the senior center? Everyone wants to meet my grandson, the storyteller. And today's pudding day. What could be better than that?" No thank you," Ben said as he sat at the kitchen table. "What? You don't like pudding? What kind of person doesn't like pudding?" "I like pudding," Ben said, "but Pearl wanted me to meet her at the dollar store after breakfast." Ben poured milk into his bowl and then he stuffed his mouth with sugar loops so that he wouldn't have to keep answering questions. "Well, I guess that'll be okay." Grandpa Abe tapped his spoon on the table. "Why would you want to hang out with a whole bunch of old people when you can hang out with a kid your own age? Just be careful. Like I told you, that girl's a troublemaker." "Okay." The toaster popped and the scent of warm bread filled the air. "You want a little smear of cream cheese on your bagel?" As Ben nodded, there was a knock at the front door, followed by a high-pitched "Yoo-hoo!" Grandpa Abe groaned and then he whispered, "That voice! I know that voice! Quick, pretend we're not home." "Who is it?" Ben whispered back. "Martha Mulberry. She's the busiest busybody in Buttonville." "Knock, knock, knock. I know you're in there, Abe Silverstein. Are you going to make me stand here all day? Because I will. I will stand here all day and knock until you open this front door." "Ugh, all right already." And with another groan, Grandpa Abe grabbed his cane and hobbled across the kitchen. "Why, hello, Martha," he said in a cheerful voice after opening the front door. "How nice to see you this morning. I was just saying to my grandson Ben that I should have such luck as to see Martha Mulberry this morning." Ben watched from the kitchen table as a woman pushed her way into the living room, followed by a girl who was pulling a red wagon. They were dressed in matching red overalls and white sneakers. They both wore matching red baseball hats with the words "Welcome Wagon" embroidered on the brim. "Ben, get yourself over here and meet Mrs. Mulberry and her daughter, Victoria." Ben shoved another spoonful of sugar loops in his mouth. He'd need some energy for the Sasquatch hunt. And then he joined his grandfather in the living room. "Hello, Ben." Mrs. Mulberry's hair stuck out from beneath her baseball cap like frizzy ropes of red licorice. "As the president of the Welcome Wagon Committee, I would like to officially welcome you to Buttonville." She shook Ben's hand, and then she smiled and all of her top gums showed. "Hi," Ben said after swallowing the sugar loops. "And this is my daughter, Victoria." The girl frowned as she shook Ben's hand. Her eyes peered at him from behind super thick glasses. Her red hair was so frizzy that it looked like it might explode from an overload of static electricity. Was this the girl that Pearl had mentioned? The girl who couldn't keep a secret? "We would have come earlier this morning, but something got into our garbage can and made a real mess." "Raccoons?" Grandpa Abe asked. "No, I don't think it was raccoons. I had never heard raccoons sorting garbage into colors. All the green stuff in one pile, all the red stuff in another pile, and so on and so on. It happened to 6 other houses on Cedar Street." "Well, that is very strange," Grandpa Abe said. Ben chewed on his lower lip as he remembered the Sasquatch guidebook. "Enjoys puzzles and likes to arrange things by color. I was convinced that misbehaving child did the damage, but my neighbor, Mr. Brimfinkel, found a big footprint in the grass next to the overturned garbage can." "A big footprint?" Ben gasped and some spit went down the wrong tube. "What's the matter with you?" Mrs. Mulberry asked Ben as he started coughing. "Are you sick?" "Nothing's the matter with me," Ben said. He hurried into the kitchen and got a glass of water. As he drank it, he imagined the Sasquatch squatting in the Mulberry's front yard, sorting through garbage. It was supposed to be sleeping in the forest, not wandering around Buttonville. What else had the creature done during the night? He needed to ask Pearl, and he needed to find her ASAP. Ben, Mrs. Mulberry called, "We have a present for you." As Ben returned to the living room, Mrs. Mulberry grabbed a wrapped package from the wagon. "Welcome to the town of Buttonville. We hope you have a long and happy stay." And she handed the package to Ben. "Thanks," Ben said. He set the present on the sofa. I really got to get going." But as Ben started for the door, Grandpa Abe cleared his throat. "Ben, be a good boy and open your gift." Ben sank onto the couch and untied the red ribbon as fast as he could. He yanked open the box and held the following things: a coupon for a free movie at the Buttonville Cinema, a bag of nails from the Buttonville hardware store, a refrigerator magnet that read, "You get more at the dollar store," a red baseball cap with the words, "Welcome Wagon," 12 ketchup packets from the Buttonville Diner, and a big chocolate button from the Buttonville candy store. "Thanks," Ben said. Mrs. Mulberry stepped close to Ben. "It is my job as president of the Welcome Wagon to know everything about everybody. I understand that your parents sent you here for the summer. Why did they do that?" Mrs. Mulberry was a busybody, just like Grandpa Abe had said. Ben hoped she didn't have too many questions. He turned away and looked out the window. Pearl was pacing along the sidewalk, her blonde hair swishing with each step. She must have finished her chores. "Grandpa, can I—" "Ah, I see. Pearl Petal is waiting for you," said Mrs. Mulberry. "I noticed the two of you walking together yesterday. Are you friends?" "I guess so," Ben said, seeing as he and Pearl shared some pretty big secrets. I guess they had become friends. "I don't like Pearl Petal," Victoria said. Her blue braces sparkled. "I never play with her." "And that's a wise choice." Mrs. Mulberry patted the top of her daughter's baseball cap. "That Pearl Petal is a troublemaker. You would be wise, Abe, to keep your grandson from playing with her." "Ben's no dummy. He can choose his friends." Grandpa Abe winked encouragingly at Ben, and then he opened the front door. "It was so nice of you to stop by, Martha," he said with a forced smile. "I'm sure you have lots of other things to do today." "Oh, yes, indeed, I do. Someone has moved into the old button factory, and it is my job to find out who that someone is. Even if I have to wait outside that gate all day, I must know what is going on in there." "I'm sure you'll figure it out," Grandpa Abe said. "After all, it's your job to know everything about everybody." Victoria grabbed the wagon handle and followed her mother out the door. The wagon thumped down the porch steps. Victoria glared at Pearl as she passed by. Pearl glared back. Then Victoria and Mrs. Mulberry made their way along Pine Street, the wagon wheels squeaking. "Oh, I thought they'd never leave," Grandpa Abe said. He grabbed his cane and plopped a canvas hat onto his head. "Well, you and Pearl have fun. I'm off to the senior center to set up the tables. Puddin' Day's our busiest day." And off he went, tipping his hat at Pearl as he drove by. After tucking the kit under his arm and closing the bedroom door, Ben joined Pearl outside. The cloudless sky glowed with summer sunshine. Barnaby sat on the sidewalk, pawing at a trail of ants. He squished a bunch of them, and they lay lifeless as beads. Ben hissed a warning, "You stay away from my hamster, or—" and he leaned in close, "or I'll feed you to the Sasquatch." Barnaby ignored Ben, flicked his black tail, and then pounced on another ant. "I don't think Sasquatches eat cats," Pearl said. She glanced up and down the sidewalk. "I did my chores as fast as I could so I could get over here. Guess what I found out?" She looked around again. "I found out that the Sasquatch broke into the diner last night and ate all the ketchup packets and all the chocolate syrup. It left a big footprint near the door. And it got into a bunch of garbage cans and sorted the garbage by color," Ben told her. Pearl took a rubber band off her wrist and pulled her hair into a ponytail. This is serious stuff. We need to catch it before anyone else sees it. Where do you think we should start looking? I'm not sure, Ben shrugged. And that's when a scream filled the air. But that sounds like a great place to start. Tune in tomorrow.